the wrestling podcast that sets all other podcasts apart. Covering news from the world of WWE, AEW, TNA, and more. Your favorite weekly episodic podcast, Ramblers Unleashed, starts now.
Yeah, it starts now. Welcome back to your weekly episodic podcast. It is Ramblers Unleashed, where we do talk about the wonderful world of professional wrestling, covering WWE, AEW, TNA, and all other promotions. I am Dizzy, and these guys are my fellow Ramblers. And first and foremost, let me introduce you to the crew. We kick things off with a man that really needs no introduction because I respect him, and so he will get one. A man that not only has remarkable technical wizardry to keep this show running, but also has a vast, impeccable knowledge of wrestling, and, as his missus says, is incredibly smoother than the freshly shaved back of a bodybuilder. The host of Total Nonstop Impact on YouTube and Twitch. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the one, the only, J-Bone! Yay!
Well, thank you, Dizzy. Damn, you are.
Are you speechless?
You know what, dude? I don't know when it's gonna be, but when I kick the bucket, I'm going to invite you to my funeral just so you can do my post, when you stand in front of everyone. Yeah, you're going to give my eulogy because you're just going to everyone's just going to just drop their jaws like, wow, we didn't know that about this guy.
I'm for hire. I'm just saying, I'm for hire. The Baron is off tonight. He is on assignment gathering precious intel on Ryback and Vince Russo and what makes their relationship tick. And we wish him a speedy trip back to home base. And what's that?
He did what to the what?
He's gathering intel on Ryback and Vince Russo and what makes their relationship work.
Jiminy Christmas. Good luck.
I know. No, good luck indeed.
I already have that question.
Well, we'll get to you right now. And last but not least, a man that wishes I would just come out and say what he weirdly enough craves and wants me to say because I think it arouses him in some strange fashion. But a man that makes my life a living hell and makes me question why he's even on this show. But then I remember that he too has a vast knowledge of not only pro wrestling, but has a mind for this business as well. He is the mighty one. We here on the show call him Maxi Pad, but you can address him as Max Magus.
All right, so first off, let's make something very clear. Dizzy invited me to the show to begin with. He's got no room to complain. Secondly, the contract that Bubba had me sign says I'm supposed to make your life a living hell. Now, I want to get back to this funeral conversation because you want him to be doing your eulogy. Does that mean I can be up there doing color commentary? And I'll make it clear, I do that for free.
Yo, what the hell? Why not? Who are these guys and why are they talking about Jay? Oh, and then you guys can play a little background video, this is what we used to do back in the day.
Yes.
Actually, that is not a bad idea. We should take some of our old videos, pull out some highlights, and yes, the peeing incident has to be one of the highlights. And then one afternoon, we'll sit here and we do 10 minutes of highlights from over the years.
I wish that video was still up on our YouTube page, man, because that was precious. Bubba peeing on live or on YouTube Live. It was something to behold, that's for sure.
All I'm saying, that was a damn good mic. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh my God, yeah.
And that was right after I joined, so I'm like, hell did I get into?
Hell, I think it was the same mic that I sent you, Max, and I sent you, J-Bone. So
you know what? Let's address the question that J-Bone back then was thinking, yes, sir, this is normal around here.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're new to the show, this is absolutely normal. By the way, hit that bell icon, hit the subscribe button, and you'll be notified every time we get on the show. And how you guys doing? Did you guys? I don't know if you fellas, with Max being in Texas, probably not. But J-Bone, did you get any snow up in Wisconsin?
Yeah, we got some this last week, but half of it's melted away.
Yeah,
I gotta say the guys that do our it's like we moved to a condo so that we didn't have to deal with that kind of stuff. Taking care of it, getting rid of it.
right.
These guys suck. These guys just suck. I mean, it's the fine points that matter. It's like, it's fine, they plowed everything, but we're getting a brand new garage door on Tuesday, so we had to park outside of our garage. And I understand they had to go around our truck. I get that. I'm not complaining about that. I expected it. I didn't know it was snowing, but we had about 6 inches on top of a truck that I had to blow up, whatever, scrape off, whatever. So then I had to take Pops to his quarterly cancer appointment. And then I saw the truck with the guy sitting in, and I'm like, okay, they're on break. That's completely allowed. It's freaking freezing out. They're warming up, and when they get back, they're going to shovel the sidewalks that I had to trudge through with Pops, unfortunately. And sure enough, they got everything cleaned up except for where my truck was. They did not plow where the truck was. They just did the sidewalk and went around the snow that came off the truck. I'm like, really?
You would think. I mean, there's really no extra steps that they have to take to get that part cleared off too.
Would take 2 extra seconds to just move it and dump it to the pile that's already at the end of the driveway right next to where we are. But
Ridiculous.
Whatever, it is what it is. Great news though. Pop had a great cancer appointment update with the doc. He's been out of the hospital for a couple weeks now. He's getting his strength back. P.S. If you guys know what prostate cancer is, PSA numbers are very important. That means that there is the lower the number means there is no spread of the cancer. His number is 0.01, and that's as low as that's as low as low can get. So we're very thankful for that. So
absolutely,
Cancer is the devil.
It's fantastic news. Max, what?
I said cancer is the devil.
Yeah. Hashtag cancer.
That's right. That's right.
Well, we got
here making me jealous.
Why? Jealous of what?
Yeah, it does snow down here occasionally. It hasn't this year. It hasn't the whole time I've been down here. I miss the snow. I know. Ant!
Oh my God, it's Anthony. It's Ant. Ladies and gentlemen, the person that is on our chat right now, Anthony DeStefano, he
on the Facebook, yeah.
A really, really popular podcast, Rant with Ants. Thank you for hanging with us, brother. Hope you're doing well, man. I
just want everybody to know I love Ant more than I love Dizzy.
Oh, yeah. I love Ant more than I love Dizzy. So what the hell? For the first time ever yesterday, I got to experience thunder snow, which I've only seen on TV on the Weather Channel and things like that. But that was incredible. I mean, I was sitting in the building, and where we were, much love to you, brother Ant. We love you, man. I was sitting in the building, and the building shook with the thunder. It was insane. And the snow just kept, it was just plowed. It was like plowing down. The flakes were not huge, but they were pretty big. But we got a lot of snow, way too damn much. but that was the first time somebody actually sent us a video of it lightning and thundering, and it was just incredible to see that. I've never experienced or been involved with thunder snow, but that was something I will never ever forget, and I don't ever want to be involved in that anymore, but because I hate snow. I hate it. But we hope
And here I am wanting to move to Alaska.
I don't know why. Jesus Christ. I got a friend who lives in Alaska, very remote McGrath, Alaska, and he's a weird. If you're watching, dude, you're awesome. But anybody who lives in Alaska, you're brave, man. You are brave, super brave. But I want to go south. That's where I want to be. Anthony goes to Florida a lot to Disney with his family, and I know our buddy Oni. I think he just bought a house in Florida, which is awesome.
Today is his birthday, I think. I saw on Facebook.
Yeah. Happy birthday to Oni. We love you, buddy. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, yes, happy birthday, Oni.
The family.
I like Oni better than I like Dizzy too.
I like Oni better than I like Dizzy. So,
wait, what?
There's that.
You got to love yourself, brother.
Got to love yourself, brother. Yeah, he's got a house down there. I hope the rates drop, dude. Whew. Gosh, man.
Listen, being the cold weather person that I am not liking being in Texas right now. But I will tell you that I couldn't possibly live in Florida because Florida refuses to participate in winter every year. There's no... I watch the temperatures down there. It's like, holy crap, if I want to retire and die in the heat, I'll go to Florida. Otherwise, I'm going to find me a nice cold state.
I can't do the States. I can't do the Midwest either, man. I hate it. And I'm just ready to move on, man. I'm ready to be in the sunshine next to a beach. And I'm just over the cold, man. We've dealt with it for too damn long, and wherever that damn groundhog is, I want to football kick him across wherever he is, man. I just want to kick. Yeah, we will not go into that because I feel very violent. Groundhog.
Do you want to kick him
in the scrotissimus region?
Yes.
Just Dizzy, just so you know, Phil has better protection around him than the president, just so you know.
Well, I'll friggin' destroy his security team just to get to that stupid groundhog. I've heard groundhog fried tastes pretty good. I don't know. Maybe. And,
I'm laughing at
Anthony. I feel this so much. I want to be walking around in the heat, no shirt, man tits out, beer in my hand. Fucking A. I applaud that. I so greatly applaud that.
You know, you can do that in the cold too, but only for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just not as sexy.
Yeah.
It's similar to being able to skydive without a parachute, but only once.
Some people call that a polar plunge.
Yeah.
That's what happens in my hometown every year.
Yeah, it's happening here too.
Billy Wake.
Yeah, they're gonna start raising money for Special Olympics, which that's awesome, man. I love to hear that.
Yeah,
so
that's nice.
That is cool.
So let us, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, you know, we mentioned Oni's birthday.
Yes.
We had another birthday this week.
Oh, we did, didn't we?
We did. Listen, every once in a while, life gives us an opportunity. And what we do with that, and what we do with that opportunity defines us. And when I heard that it was Dizzy's birthday this week, I took the opportunity to make him a very special picture. And no matter what he tells you, he loved that picture. It's a picture of him with a patch on his shirt that says, I heart Nickelback. Dizzy, happy birthday, my friend.
When I saw that picture, I thought, oh, how fitting. How fitting. And only you would be able to Photoshop a picture of Nickelback onto me. So thank you. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Much appreciated. And I figured something was going to come from you. I just didn't know what, and I didn't know when. But when it came over, I said, oh, how appropriate.
I do what I can, you know. It's just a me thing.
You are that guy. You are that guy.
I am that guy.
Yes.
And I don't even hate being that guy. In fact, I kind of enjoy being that guy, especially in this case.
Oh. Should we talk about the fact that you are famous on Twitter as far as getting blocked by people?
You know what? Let's talk about this for a minute, because I wouldn't say famous, but I know of 2 celebrities that have me blocked. And prior to today, I only knew of one.
What's the first one? Before we get into the real reason, what's the first one? Who's the first that's blocked you?
So I a while back, I went to Batista's Twitter. I wanted to interact with something that I knew he had tweeted out, and I found that I was blocked. Now, I'm going to be honest. Back when Blutista was trending, I may have jumped on that. I can't remember for sure. Honestly, that's not me trying to get out of this. I can't remember for sure. It's possible. So I may have caused my own blocking with Batista. And I feel bad about that because I actually like the guy and I wish I wasn't blocked by him. So it kind of sucked for me to find that out. Now, fast forward to today. Okay. I went over to Twitter because there was a tweet that went out this past week before, by one of the most unhinged former WWE employees you will ever meet. I haven't had the misfortune of meeting him in person, so let's keep that clear. But he is very unhinged, and he has been putting out poll after poll asking where he should go next to work, and listing several feds and then retirement as one of the options. And so I wanted to get this tweet that he sent out concerning the Vince McMahon situation, because if you've read his tweets on Vince McMahon, you see what I'm talking about. But this one was about Triple H instead. And I wanted to get that so we could discuss it on the show today. I wanted to talk about his opinion, as unhinged as it may be. I wanted to discuss it with the boys. So I go over to Twitter and I pull up his page. Ryback has blocked me. Listen, Ryback. You think you're on this island of relevancy, but you're so far removed from it that even Santino Marella is still more relevant than you, as we saw earlier in this particular episode. All right? You mean nothing in wrestling terms to the fans anymore. They just want you to retire. They keep telling you that. And honestly, I think that's the truth of the situation. I mean, tell me I'm wrong, guys. He keeps telling everybody stop choosing the retirement option as a joke, and then all of a sudden people that choose the retirement option are blocked. I'm pretty sure that's what it is because I voted for him to retire. Ryback, you should just retire. That's where we stand.
Ouch, man.
I gotta say I agree. I don't agree a lot with Max, but I'll agree here. Yeah.
I think everybody's had their when you have your final moment in the sun, it's time to ride off into the sunset. And I think in this case, he definitely needs to, even though everybody has they're entitled to their own opinion of, and we all know his disdain of the WWE and of Vince McMahon and obviously Triple H. I think it's time for him to ride off into the sunset and just say, you know what, I'm done. I'm done.
And there is a difference between our issues with Vince McMahon, because we've discussed this. Yes, innocent until proven guilty. I'm not saying that he did these things based on past behavior. And if you go back and watch some of the segments that he's in with the women on WWE, they're even worse now in the light of these allegations, because you really see that this is very possible that he went from that persona into his real life with this.
Yeah.
But innocent until proven guilty. But even though we have our issues with him, because we're pretty sure he probably did it, that's different from the way Ryback has been handling the whole Vince WWE situation from the start. This guy has said that he cannot wait to piss on Vince's grave.
Well, I mean, let's say this though. I mean, to play devil's advocate here, hasn't in one form or shape of whatever, hasn't Vincent said that he would dance on Vince's grave?
I mean, I've not supported that comment either, but yeah, that's possible. All I'm saying is
there's a lot of people. What I'm trying to get to is there's a lot of people who have worked for Vince McMahon that say that I cannot wait to dance on that dude's grave. I can't wait till he dies. I'm going to piss and dance and shit and whatever they're going to do to his grave. I wouldn't suggest piss or shitting on it because that'll fertilize the ground. But
right.
There have been a slew of superstars and former WWE employees who would love the opportunity to piss on Vince McMahon's grave.
Listen,
so,
are there former employees that have legitimate claims against McMahon for how he treated them, how he let them go, and that sort of thing? Probably.
Yeah.
I believe that there is not just a small handful. I believe there's quite a few people that have legitimate concerns about how they were released or how they were treated while they were there. Is Ryback one of those? No. Ryback is most definitely not one of those. Ryback got a fair treatment, and not only did he get a fair treatment, he got more than fair treatment. The guy had a job for way longer than he should have. If you ever watched him work in that ring, I'm surprised they kept him around as long as they did and not in a jobber status.
Yeah.
He was pretty popular, and I was a fan of his. But then, from what I heard, he got. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember all the details of his, when they let him go, but it sounded like he wanted more pay, and they said no, and they let him go, or something to that effect. I know he had issues with CM Punk and a few other people's as far as botches and stuff like that, but. Yeah, and then the guy's just doing anything he can right now to stay relevant, and don't take that as I'm trying to defend him or anything, but yeah, I get it. It is what it is.
Well, and everybody's got their own opinion. Because, but I think that people's opinion on Vince are way more valid if you have worked for the guy, versus guys like us who have never been employed by World Wrestling Entertainment or its subsidiaries and have seen it firsthand. And Courtney just commented, I heard that they had people backstage that were also in on the whole Vince investigation. I would assume so. There's going to be a lot of this, a lot of things that are going to come up, which is why Brock Lesnar is no longer involved in WWE. Matter of fact, he's been taken off the entire product. He's been taken off the game. He's been taken off of pretty much everything that involves World Wrestling Entertainment.
He was replaced in the Now Forever statement by LA Knight.
He was also replaced in the Rumble by
Braun.
And now Braun is on. He just signed a contract to SmackDown, which is really, really good to see. So,
oh yeah, congrats to him. I tell you what, I'm excited. As far as I look at guys that had a similar look or a similar feel to it, because the first thing that I think of when I look at him is, the classic Steiners and or guys like Ryback, but I expect much better things from
Braun.
From Braun Breaker,
yeah. And his entrance to the Rumble was freaking awesome, absolutely awesome. And I like you, J-Bone. I'm excited to see what what Braun is going to do, how he's going to impact the show, how much he's going to get pushed. Because a guy like Braun needs to be pushed, and he needs to be pushed the right way. And we've seen with big guys like Ryback and Mark Henry and all that, they just didn't. They got the push, but it didn't last long enough, and they made him out to like stupidity, just stupid characters. And that was all the booking events, oh, let's push these big guys and then we'll just draw back. We'll hold them back and make them do stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Calling Mark Henry sexual chocolate or putting,
like a sexual chocolate, Dizzy. Oh God, I love that. That was great. Courtney brings up a good point here. What's going to happen to the NXT tag titles though with Baron? Yeah, they just because they won the Dusty Cup or whatever it's called. Forgive me if that's off.
Yeah, that sounds similar.
And then they beat the tag champs, which were oh God, I'm drawing a blank. I can picture them. They were kind of like Italian guys. Like the Goodfellas.
Oh yeah,
but
and I don't watch.
I don't know. Is Baron gonna turn on Braun, or is Braun gonna turn on Baron? I don't know.
Tony D
thank you.
Stacks.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I actually started watching NXT again here and there. So,
and I haven't dived in. I haven't dove into the product in a long time. So,
it's good. It's really good.
Yeah, maybe I should just start watching it and paying attention to NXT too.
Yeah, I mean, I'll admit there's a lot of new faces on there. I have no clue who they are, but I love checking out new talent. I always have. I've always been excited when someone new comes on the screen. Oh, who's this person? What are they all about?
And I've always had faith in NXT because when Vince was still involved in WWE, he pretty much gave Triple H the NXT product. And then now that Triple H has moved in full time with WWE and being backstage and having hands-on interactions with that product, I'm glad that Triple H gave it to Shawn Michaels, because I think he and Shawn have the same ideas on where that product should go and how they should bring up that talent. And I think Shawn is a good person to have backstage with NXT. So should we move on to the show and what we have to talk about? Because man, there's a lot to dive into. First and foremost, J-Bone is the host of TNI, Total Nonstop Impact, on YouTube and on Twitch. And the first story that I wanted to dive into with you, J-Bone, is TNA Wrestling, as we all know, underwent significant changes with the termination of Scott D'Amore's contract and the appointment of Anthony Ciccione. Is that how you pronounce his name? Anthony
Ciccione. So I don't know. Okay. Yeah, we'll just call him Anthony for now. Mr. Anthony.
Well, he's a new president, and the restructuring has not ended, as former Impact Wrestling president Ed Nordholm is no longer associated with TNA. So
he was the president before. I don't know details as far as like why or what led to it. He was the president during the whole when Anthem took it over, when Anthem bought TNA from Dixie.
Mm-hmm.
That goes back to 2016, 2017. It's a little blurry, but you get the picture.
Yeah.
Ed Norholm was the president, and they brought Anthem, and Ed Norholm brought in Don Callis and Scott D'Amore to be the vice presidents and kind of run like the day-to-day stuff in the company.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then Don Callis, for this reason or that reason or whatever, went by the wayside, joined AEW. He wanted to be more of a character than an actual corporate stooge or whatever you want to call it. So I mean, whatever, he went on to go to do that, and then I'm not sure how or why Scott D'Amore became the president then, but he always had a hands-on association, relationship, whatever you want to call it, with the brand. He was always on the road with them, running stuff. He had his team with him, which includes like Tommy Dreamer, Johnny Bravo, amongst others, helping him, like Gail Kim for the knockouts.
Right.
So yeah. So then, last week the news came out shocking that Scott D'Amore was let go and replaced by Anthony. But as far as Ed Norholm goes, that I don't know any details about. I don't know if he was just... I really don't know. And it's not fair of me to speculate either, because I don't understand the pecking order in that company as far as exactly who did what and, who operated with,
Yeah. So I pulled the story off of ringsidenews.com, and apparently there were initial plans to upgrade Impact Studio in Nashville, but the improvements did not materialize. The lack of progress in the front coincides the departure with both Nordholm and D'Amore from TNA, and it's reported that while Nordholm and D'Amore were in favor of investing more resources into TNA, Anthem's reluctance to allocate those additional funds hindered the plans to upgrade the studio or upgrade anything in Nashville as far as TNA goes. So what's holding Anthem back? Why are they going to move operations from Nashville to another portion of the states, or are they what's going to happen going forward with TNA?
I really don't know, and it kind of
it's kind of scary.
It is because it's not. It's like, oh, okay, well, they did this because just to rewind, when all this stuff happened with Scott D'Amore and they hired Anthony to take his spot, and yeah, I know all the news came out about how Scott tried to buy the company, but we still don't know exactly what fell into place around that. Was he on his way out and he tried to buy it, or did he try to buy it, which led to his firing? That hasn't come out yet.
Well,
and I was just going to say, honestly, that's none of our business, because that's all behind the scenes stuff, and that may never come out. But what I was initially hoping for is this Anthony guy becoming like a Nick Khan-esque type of individual to really kick TNA up a notch. But now I'm hearing all these things like they were going to boost up, this part of the company, that part of the company, invest more so they could get more individuals to make it inviting to come to TNA. But now I'm hearing the negative end of the opposite, and I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know what to believe. I try to take some of this with a grain of salt, because until you hear something come corporate, in a email that gets released or something, I try to take some of it with a grain of salt. But we can only hope for the best, because they deserve it.
Absolutely. And I think Ed and Scott had kind of the same ideas as to how to build up the product, because as this article on Ringside News goes, they were looking at trying to make offers to high profile talents like CM Punk and Will Ospreay. And of course we talked about that one guy that just escaped my head. He was with I'm sorry,
Okada.
Well, Okada, and he was with Bray Wyatt. The hell is his name? I can't think of his name.
Oh, Strowman from a few years
Strowman,
ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Strowman. So, it kind of sucks that they're both of these prolific figures are gone from TNA. I hope that Anthony can keep the same momentum as to what Ed and Scott saw TNA going forward as, but honestly, I think what Anthem is trying to do is they're trying to save money by not signing and bringing in these big name people, because honestly, bringing in a big name is kind of a gamble, because you don't know if you're going to bring in a guy who's not going to do any work. You don't know if you're going to bring in a guy that is not going to be of the same level or passion for that company as you would a guy who can work his way up in the ranks, a nobody. And that's what builds momentum. If you have a guy that knows this business, hasn't got a name, but can build his name and build the company with him, take them to new heights. And Courtney makes a really, really good point about Nick Nemeth. If you can bring in a guy like that, who has that passion, who has that drive, who says, hey, I will put this company on my back and we will go up mountains. We will climb mountains and hills and everything.
Yeah.
You can make something good out of a brand like that and start driving people to watch that product and not compete with WWE, but give AEW a run for their money too.
Yeah, it's just, I think this brand has been on the climb, digging their way out from what it was before, to the point that the rebranding of TNA is definitely a positive, and I think it definitely is turning some heads. They just got to keep this momentum going, and they're bringing in a few more faces, a few more surprises. They brought in Nick Nemeth. They brought in AJ Francis, formerly known as Top Dollar, and that's actually been entertaining. I actually have been enjoying those segments. Now they brought in the Simon Gotch, and I'm really curious to see how that's going to end up, because he's supposed to face Josh Alexander at No Surrender. And that really did kind of come out of nowhere. So it's like, just, are these massive names? No, but they do have some relevance, and we'll see what happens,
And that's where honestly, I mean, I think that's where Tony Khan with AEW went awry, because he brought in big guys. He brought in big names like Chris Jericho. He brought in Cody Rhodes. He brought in all these people. And I'm not saying anything bad about Cody. He is one hell of an amazing worker. He's a talent. He puts a company on his back and he sticks with it. But it's all about what a company can do for you and how your mental health is with that company. If there's a lot of backstage drama, then that really does impact your work, and it really impacts your belief, your belief in a company that, hey, we can go places, but there's a bunch of backstage drama that we have to take taken to we got to take an under wing because this can't be if we're going to go places. And I think that's what they're doing now with WWE and the whole Vince McMahon thing. Triple H and TKO is taking it very seriously as they should, but they're also in repair mode. You know, they're in building. They're building blocks. You know, they're trying to find these building blocks, these pieces, so that they can put together. They can repair what needs to be repaired, spackle here, paint there, and make it pretty again, make it a good product. And so far, WWE is becoming a good product. I think with the departure of both Ed Nordholm and Scott D'Amore from TNA, I have hopes that Anthem will take TNA to new heights. And I think whatever relationship they have with World Wrestling Entertainment, I hope that they take this and use it as a tool to build themselves up, you know? And I hope that I want to see everybody succeed, because honestly, competition is good. Competition is good to keep everything fresh. That's the problem that I had with Vince McMahon when he bought WCW. Yeah, they dug their own grave, but Vince buying WCW and then ECW, that killed every bit of momentum and gave all the creativity and all the power to Vince. Right. To say, well, I'm the god of wrestling now, and there's nothing anybody can do about it because I have the money to stop it, if there is. And when AEW came about, that was our breath of fresh air. That was wow, this is great. And then, you know, now that we've seen, oh, by the way, Tony Khan is still high on cocaine, film at 11. If we're seeing the rise and now the fall.
Sorry, a little late on that, but I had to.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. I mean, we're seeing the rise of AEW, and now I think we're seeing kind of a slow decline, especially with networks pushing away, trying to push away from AEW and the product there. I read an article that AEW is going to work diligently to try to cut out the swear words, not only with their talent, but with the crowd too, similar to what WWE is doing. So I think that's good.
They you let a few slip here and there, but it can't be something that hijacks the show and that gets out of control. They still try to put out a family product. You can keep it edgy here and there.
Sure.
So we'll have to turn it into you can't turn it into a Sam Kinison show, it's like
exactly. Yeah. So we'll have to see where things go with TNA. We'll keep an eye on it. And of course you can tune into Total Nonstop Impact for any updates as far as TNA goes. But let's move on, because there's a lot of talk about Jade Cargill and where she is in the product. And she recently provided some insights into her training progress at the Performance Center. Oh. And yeah, The Rock did swear last night. He did. Despite only having wrestled once at the Royal Rumble, she made quite a noticeable impact as one of the 3 final women in the match, and her journey in the WWE has been marked by her dedication to mastering the nuances of the industry. So in a discussion with Denise Salcedo, according to ringsidenews.com, and I hope I said that name right, Cargill highlighted...
It's Denise Salcedo.
Thank you. Cargill highlighted
I'm a fan of hers.
Yeah. Cargill highlighted the adjustments that she's made to when transitioning from her previous experience in AEW to WWE. She emphasized that learning the subtle differences in moves, aprons, and ropes, acknowledging the importance of adapting to WWE's unique environment while staying true to herself. She also expressed gratitude and support to her coaching staff at the Performance Center. So this sounds really, really good because you have to think about the differences in the culture in both AEW and in WWE, and I would assume that culture over at TNA too. But you have to think about, what are they teaching everybody over in these different promotions, as far as ring working goes. And I wish Max was here to dive into that, because there has to be a different mindset, a different atmosphere as far as that goes.
I think Max dropped a tater tot on the floor and he got stuck underneath his desk.
He's looking for a tater tot, of course. Yeah. We told him before the show, put him in his pocket.
Right. Yeah, just like the guy did in the movie. It's like, just put the tots in the pocket, and then you're set to go.
Yeah. But the reason
guys
I
never learn.
I know they don't. But the reason I wish Max was here is that he could go he could dive in and give us some sort of explanation or insight into the different cultures of working for different promotions. But since he's not, are you excited, J-Bone, for Jade Cargill and her progress at the performance?
Oh, absolutely.
No.
Yeah, I mean, everyone was saying, "Oh, she's so green" when she first went over to WWE, and they put her on TV a few times. But if you notice, they didn't just throw her in the ring. They're taking baby steps with her, and I was actually shocked when they put her in the Rumble. That's a big move. But she was in there with people that would help make her shine and also protect her at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean that in a negative way, like, back when and the company was trying to tell CM Punk to make Roman Reigns look really good. No, I don't mean like that. It's just everybody working together for the betterment of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So with whatever time she had in there, and I don't remember how much she had in there, but yeah, it was a good first last four, Courtney. Thank you. I'm excited. I'm glad they're not rushing it. I don't think she has signed to a particular brand yet. It looked like she was going to for SmackDown, but she's been on both shows going back and forth. I know she had a face off with Charlotte Flair. That'll come somewhere down the road. Charlotte Flair, unfortunately, just had knee surgery again. So,
and before she signed specifically to a brand, and I wish they did this with Braun Breaker. Before she signs specifically to a brand, they need to put her up against somebody. They need to have her cut a promo. They need to have her call out somebody instead of Rhea Ripley, because everybody's going after Rhea Ripley, and you really can't put her up against Rhea because she's already going to face off with Nia Jax at Elimination Chamber. But she's not ready for that WrestleMania moment yet, and I think they're really just trying to build her character up to where she can go to. She can hop between both shows, both brands, and figure out who she really wants to go after. And for the love of God, if anybody at WWE is watching this, do not put her up against Nia Jax. Do not do that, because did you see her cut that stupid promo with Becky Lynch, Nia Jax?
Where she was crying?
She came out, she started crying, and then she got real serious. She couldn't cut a promo if the freaking paper was in front of her face. She really, it was terrible. It was awful.
It's not her best work, but I do appreciate the feud between the two, because it really kind of reignited this whole thing with Becky and her, which goes back a few years.
It does go back,
yeah. So there's one spot left in the Elimination Chamber for Perth for the ladies. I don't know who's going to get it. The rumor was that it was going to go to Jade Cargill, but I'm not sure where it's going to go. Welcome back, Matt.
Welcome back.
Did you find that tater tot that rolled under your desk?
I wish it was that simple. I had to take a work call. I apologize. Such is the life of being on call 24/7, though.
It's okay. You can call it that. We know it was the tater tot. It's okay.
Yeah. Call it that.
Welcome back.
Yeah. Let's keep the momentum going. Welcome back, Max. Let's talk about Steve Mongo McMichael. We've been eagerly waiting up updates on his health battles with ALS, and
make sure you
finally there's some positive news to share regarding Steve's recovery. As we all know, he was part of the iconic Four Horsemen in WCW and engaged in a lot of different feuds before leaving the company in 1999. But recently, McMichael was hospitalized due to suspected pneumonia, which later led to his admission to the ICU after developing a UTI. But there's some optimism for Steve. There was some news shared on X, formerly known as Twitter, to share that McMichael's condition is showing signs of improvement with the administration of antibiotics for the UTI. Additionally, he's undergoing a procedure to drain fluids from his lungs, which sucks. Hospital officials anticipate his release in the next few days. So that's good news to hear about Mongo McMichael, even though he wasn't my favorite character in WCW. That's awesome. That's awesome news.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that he's doing better. I mean, he was always entertaining, even if he wasn't the best wrestler out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he was a former Bear.
Yeah. So glad to hear that about Mongo. Glad to hear he's doing a lot better. Let's move on to news about Ted DiBiase and his reaction to the allegations with Vince McMahon, as we all know, is one of the most controversial figures in the professional wrestling history. And DiBiase had some pretty tough words to say. Of course, we all know Vince McMahon facing allegations of sex trafficking and misconduct from Janelle Grant in the lawsuit. Grant claims that McMahon distributed explicit content of her without consent, implicating other WWE personnel, disclosed executives, and wrestling stars. So while Ted DiBiase was speaking on a podcast called Everybody's Got a Pod, he shared his thoughts on the sex trafficking lawsuit against Vince McMahon and expressed a sense of sadness, acknowledging the significant role that McMahon played in the evolution of pro wrestling, which we all talked about. You know, he's our Disney. However, he also reflected on the accusations against McMahon, describing it in a double-edged sword. He said, quote, "I've been kind of sad recently with all the stuff going on with Vince. That's heart-wrenching, really. I don't know if it's kind of like a double-edged sword there. I mean, one part of me is if it hadn't been for Vince, where wrestling has gone, would have never happened. But by the same token, when you look at some of the things that he's been accused of doing," end quote. So it is a double-edged sword. And we talked about this. We said, I said that Vince McMahon is our Disney. And what he did was unremarkably disgusting to Janelle Grant. But what Ted DiBiase feels is what I think everybody in professional wrestling is fans, as far as fans go. I think that's what they're feeling too. Guys, your thoughts?
I mean,
go ahead, Max.
We've talked a lot about how innocent until proven guilty, but I mean, we've seen a lot of stuff that makes it look like there's probably some truth to this. And I think DiBiase hits the nail on the head. I mean, he didn't come out and say, "Hey, Vince is guilty." That's not what he said. But he makes it pretty clear that he believes the allegations. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, how can you not believe the allegations? How can you not believe it's true?
If you go back and you watch like I said earlier, if you go back and watch some of his interactions with the women on Raw and whatnot in the past, I mean, I watched something with him and Ashley where she ran into him while he was holding a cup of coffee. It was an accident. And I feel like, I mean, even in character, he went way overboard with it. It just didn't feel right when I watched it again.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of disturbing things that we're just now noticing that we never really noticed before when it comes to Vince and him being on TV and interacting and engaging with the female superstars in the company. J-Bone, it's gotta be difficult for a fan to even think or imagine him doing this nasty shit that he's been accused of. And does it take away your love of the business? Does it make you think twice, like, wow, should I really be watching a product like WWE or anymore? Or does it I don't know, not make you love it more, but you want to see as where a company goes without Vince McMahon involved, where they can go?
It's a really good question, Diz. I tell you what, it does unfortunately shine. It does put a dark cloud over the company as far as its past, but I'm very excited for the future. And I know that WWE is going to be, look, no company is perfect. There's always going to be attitudes. There's always going to be, egos, but as far as being a safe place to work, yeah, you hope and pray that, all these companies are doing the right thing and not letting anything like what's coming out now that is associated with Vince, happen in the future. And I think they will take it very seriously. I am honestly worried about guys like Triple H who are so close to the story, that something was going to happen to him. So far, he's on the right track, and I think he'll be okay. I don't think anything's really going to happen to him unless some kind of abuse thing comes out. But honestly, in the years that I've been watching and, hearing, you hear rumblings about this, that I've never heard anything about Trips. The only controversial or somewhat controversial thing that I've ever heard about Trips is that, he was dating China and then left China for Stephanie. Apparently was cheating behind China's back. And then things went sideways with China's career. But I don't put that all on Trips. That's just that and something I always say, and please don't take this as I'm letting what kind of abuse things happened in the past that I'm supporting it. But I always said, when you hear things about relationships and stuff, that's that's Vince's circus, and that's the wrestling biz. Yeah.
It is. It is, and you have to think about the fact that wrestling is such a dangerous contact sport, and you want something to you want it to be a safe, not only work environment, but you also want it to be a safe experience for the backstage. You want, and when I say work, I mean in the ring, and then you want it to be a good atmosphere backstage. You want everybody to build one another up, and making it I don't know, a good culture in that business. So let's move on. Tiffany Stratton we saw on SmackDown.
Time.
Yeah, it's Tiffy time, and I'm excited for Tiffy, man, and this is going to be good for her career, and we're getting ready for we're getting ready for the Elimination Chamber, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that, but I'm not going to be up at 5 a.m. to watch it, honestly. I don't know anybody that would.
Actually, if what I heard last night's correct, it's 5 a.m. Eastern time, so we'd have to be up at 4.
God, even at 4 o'clock, I'm not going to get up and watch. I'm not going to get up and watch.
I was thinking if I was still in Denver, I'd just stay up because it would start at 3 a.m.
Yeah, I just can't. I don't know. I mean, I'd have to. I don't think I'm going to watch it. I think I'll just watch it on like a replay or something like that. But let's talk about the updated card for Elimination Chamber as we now know it. The men's Elimination Chamber match for the World Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania 40. We got Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, LA Knight, Kevin Owens, and now Logan Paul in the Elimination Chamber for the men's match. The women's match for the Women's World Championship, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Tiffany Stratton, which is awesome, Naomi, and we've yet to see the next entrant for the Elimination Chamber. And I think, are they going to do that at Raw, or are they going to do that on SmackDown next Friday? What will be the next Elimination Chamber match or whatever?
Well, it's got to be one of the two, because they only got this week left, or this coming week left, because it's going to be on Saturday, and the day before on Friday is TNA's No Surrender. So it's going to be a loaded weekend. It's going to be a lot of stuff happening. Very excited. There'll be lots of stuff to talk about.
The Women's World Championship match, we've got Rhea Ripley against Nia Jax, which I am not looking forward to anything involving Nia Jax, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I thought you used to like her.
She can't cut a promo, dude.
No,
she can't cut a promo. She can't wrestle safe, and I don't know. I'm not fond of her anymore. And I don't want Logan Paul involved in anything WWE, Courtney, but we have to. I don't want Nia Jax involved in anything WWE related, but it is what it is, and we just have to live with it.
Listen, I don't like Logan Paul, but I got to give the guy credit. The man actually learned the craft before stepping in the ring, unlike some celebrities that come over. He admitted that he was out of position in that move with Ray. As much as I hate to say this, I got to give the guy credit and show him some respect. That doesn't mean I got to like him, but I got to show him some respect.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go old school with this comparison, and I don't know if it's the best comparison in the world, but this has just popped in my head, so I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm just gonna throw it against the wall and see who checks it out. If you smell what I'm cooking, so I look at it like, okay, you may not, you go way back, and I'm talking about way back when there was a tag team of Test and Albert or TNA or whatever TNA. And there was a young lady that was put with them, a young lady fresh to the business, by the name of Trish Stratus.
Oh yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard of her.
She was easy on the eyes. She was a swimsuit model, and she fit right in with you could say the just becoming the post end of the Attitude Era, going into the ruthless aggression era. Oh God, I just made myself sound like Vince, and I almost threw up in my mouth. I'm sorry. Shit, look what he's done. Damn it. Anyways, I just made it feel dirty. Shit. No, my point about Trish is she came in, she was eye candy, she was a valet, and she went to whatever training facility. I'm not sure who trained her, but whoever did trained her right, and she became one of the best women's wrestler of that time, and still can go in the ring today amazingly. She is taking care of herself. That's kind of how I compare it to. I'm sure there was a lot of people back then that looked at her and said, oh, she's just eye candy. She can't do this. She can't do that. Or she shouldn't do this. Or she shouldn't do that. She's come a long way. And I got to say, I feel the same way about Logan Paul. He became this is his full-time job now. They made him a full, he doesn't just show up once every 6 months like some other people. This is his gig now, and he's a full-time wrestler,
but he still has permission to go do his other fights once in a while, because he had a couple weeks off not too long ago where he went out and did one of those other fights, and that doesn't make sense to me.
I suppose it depends on what it is and how protected he's gonna be in those fights. You can look at, there's other guys that have done that with MMA and stuff, like Bobby Lashley years ago when he was with
yeah, I mean, you also have to think about bro, what's his name?
Oh, I miss Riddle.
Oh, Matt Riddle,
yeah.
Yeah.
But even though Matt Riddle came from UFC, and he really didn't go back and forth between UFC and WWE, as far as I know.
No, and I tell you what, Matt Riddle was one of the fastest learners that I've ever seen, and I always refer back to this, and it makes people laugh, and well, hopefully it'll make you laugh too. There's a little streaming service back in 2016, 2017 by the name of Flow Slam. Do you guys remember this?
Yeah, I remember rumblings about that. Yeah.
And they had all sorts of, they had Evolve. They had all sorts of European indies on there. And Matt Riddle was a part of that particular scene. He was all over there, including Evolve. And he wrestled guys like, what's his name? Oh, yeah. Do you remember Drew Galloway? Guys like that who later went on to the WWE, who is Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
It's just watching him rise up the ranks in the indies and then eventually making it to WWE. Now he's had a falling out with them, and well, we certainly wish him the best. But it's been interesting.
Yeah,
but back to your original thing about WWE, and you were talking about Logan Paul. I really do. Yeah, I mean it's fun to boo a guy like Logan Paul, because he was a YouTuber, or maybe he still is. I'm not even sure.
I don't think
But,
I think he's an influencer still, but I don't know if he's full-time influencer, if that makes any sense.
I'm not sure, but it's fun to boo him. I am impressed with his progress, and I gotta say, I have become a fan. I even have one of his action figures over here somewhere. So it's I'll put it this way. This is the best way I can put it. He hasn't stunk up the joint yet. I haven't seen him do anything that makes him, oh, he don't belong here. He sucks. Look what he did. He did this. He did that. He hurt this guy. He hurt that guy. If anything, he's protected guys like Rey Mysterio, and that I don't remember what event that was.
But that was also his mistake. I mentioned that. That was also his mistake that he had to jump in and protect Mysterio from. And he said it. Yeah. He did an interview a couple days later. He goes, "No, that was me. I was out of position."
Yeah, but he made a mistake. He owned up to it, but he also saved Ray. I mean, that could have been really bad,
right? You know? And I'm not, that's why I said I got to give him respect, is because he did jump in there and save Ray.
Yeah.
I want to jump back to the Trish Stratus part of this real quick because I joked like I didn't know who she was. Everybody thinks the women's revolution started with Becky Lynch and Bayley and Paige and all of them on Raw. But the women's revolution actually started with Trish Stratus and Lita because they went out there and made women's matches more of a serious thing as opposed to what they'd always been for years leading up to that. And yeah, you had some serious matches before Trish and Lita came along. But for the most part, you were a diva and you were there to look good. There wasn't nobody cared how you wrestled. They wanted you to go out there and be pretty.
They wanted you to go out, and they wanted them to go out in bras and panties and wrestle in jello and mud.
Right. And don't get me wrong, Trish and Lita both look amazing, but they really started that trend towards going to more serious actual wrestling matches. And it only evolved from there when Paige and Bayley and Becky all did their part of the evolution on Raw. So my whole point is I want to point out that the real women's revolution started with Trish and Lita and their generation of women's wrestlers.
Yeah, but they also looked up to ladies like Mae Young and all those women who helped put them and on the map and give them the wherewithal to go out there and actually perform in a match and not just a bra and panty match and jello and pudding and mud and all that crap.
Right.
And for the record, I completely 100% support looking up to Mae Young. If you don't know the backstory about Fabulous Moolah, I believe they did a Dark Side of the Ring on her. Yeah. Please go check that out. I lost all respect for Fabulous Moolah after hearing all those things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. There were some things to how she abused the girls or something. Yeah. There was. Yeah. I don't remember.
Yeah. But we move on with the card on the Elimination Chamber for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship match. That is the Judgment Day. Finn Balor and Damian Priest, who is still Mr. Money in the Bank or Senior Money in the Bank, and I get it right. And the newly debut of the tag team between Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, the New Catch Republic. I'm not a fan of the name. I don't understand the name, the New Catch Republic. Does anybody want to shed any light on that after they debuted their new tag team SmackDown last night?
So I missed that part. I did hear that they were put into a match with those
with Finn Balor and Damian Priest, but Priest, it was when they debuted it with
backstage, right?
Dominic Mysterio, and they had an interaction with him, and they debuted the new name. So,
which by the way, I was just gonna say, and by the way, man, Dominic. He's freaking gold, man.
Oh, he's got so much good heat. So much good heat. Him being with the Judgment Day,
it's good heat. It's good heat. It's not go away heat. It's just good heat.
Yeah, and he needed that. He definitely needed that. Max,
I want to talk about what happened last night, but I want to answer Dizzy's question first. The group takes its name from a style of professional wrestling that is a mixture of Japanese strong style and traditional British catch wrestling.
Oh, good. Okay.
So, if you give me just a second, I'm going to send you the link on catch wrestling so you can read that part for yourself later.
Okay, cool. And we also have Cody Rhodes and World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins that will appear on the Grayson Waller effect at Elimination Chamber. Which
and that's going to be fun because Grayson Waller is from Australia. So that's whatever happens to him, he's probably going to end up getting his ass kicked on his own show.
Actually,
honestly, it's a push.
He may not this time. Honestly. He may not this time. Because if you were watching SmackDown last night, there was a spot where he was standing outside of the Bloodline locker room and he and Heyman were having a conversation. And if you've watched any of the Grayson Waller effect, you know that his guest isn't the real guest. His guest is being set up by the real guest. So in this case, you got Cody and Seth as the guests. Who do you think the real guests of the show are? The Bloodline.
So you're saying the Bloodline's going to come out after Seth and Cody come out for the Grayson Waller effect?
That's most likely. That's how the Grayson Waller effect works. WWE, you guys stop foreshadowing everything. All right, come on.
Which let's talk about the Bloodline real quick. Did anybody watch the promo that The Rock cut with the Bloodline?
We got 100% heel Rock.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Putting down Utah.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful. I mean, it was really, really good. But I don't know. Do you think he fits in with the Bloodline? Because to me, everybody on the Bloodline was doing one of these, but The Rock was doing one of these, like guns up, like that. Yeah, like the L. The L.
He just got confused because he was probably backstage talking to Finn Balor, and Balor was talking about the old days of the Bullet Club, and so he probably just I don't know. I really do think it's the whole thing. This all started with The Rock coming back, people being excited for it because they love The Rock. Then they realized that Cody was getting pushed out of the storyline, and then it became, then we don't like The Rock. We don't want him taking Cody's spot at WrestleMania. That's not good for Cody, and so hence yes, we have the Cody crybabies, and then I love the evolution of this, and so now we have full blown heel Rock, because heel Rock is like, no man, I'm the star of this. I'm the biggest star. I want to go on to WrestleMania and I want to do this and do that. The fact that he is 100% part of the Bloodline now is just, from where we were like a couple months ago, to me it's mind blowing. Like, whoa, this really flipped.
Yeah, but this is how you come back from playing damage control. This is how you come back from pulling Cody Rhodes out of a match at WrestleMania against Roman Reigns and putting The Rock in, people getting pissed off, legitimately pissed off, and using that as a storyline to build Rock up as a heel. That is how you play damage control, and they did it amazingly. They did it beautifully, and I applaud Triple H for throwing it back at the storyline and making Rock into a legitimate heel, because that is that's a good move.
See, I know a lot of people are assuming that it was like, okay, now we have to stop what we're doing here. We got to go to plan B. I got a feeling that I got a feeling this might have been the plan all along, and just to completely blow the fans.
Well, they needed something. They needed something to take away from this whole Vince McMahon thing. They needed eyes off of that situation and onto this situation. They needed to bring something back to the forefront that they could put on TV and make some money off of. And honestly, they're making a lot of money off The Rock. They really are.
I believe that.
This is also a good, and I don't mean to interrupt, but this is also a good way to build up the company again to a new era, because we need a new era. We really do. I am so over the PG era of this. I think a lot of people are. We need a new era of professional wrestling, and if it's not, we can't go back to the Attitude Era. This can't be Attitude 2.0. This needs to be a new era, a new modern era of the WWE, and they need to push away from the whole PG thing. And I think that's what they're trying to do.
You know what?
It could be
exactly right.
Yeah.
We need a new modern era. And for a new modern era, there is only one person that can make that happen. And that is the modern day Maharaja. Make this man the champion again.
Crickets, you hear them? You hear the crickets? Yeah. Yeah. They tried that. Remember, they tried, and
no, I didn't hear crickets. I didn't hear crickets. What I heard was J-Bone laughing, which means I got the exact result I was going for. Just because you don't care to laugh, that's your problem.
Don't hinder gender.
Oh God, that's so funny.
My. Well,
I feel like they're on the right track, and
I think they are too.
We know what one of the main events is going to be. We are definitely getting Cody versus Roman.
We are.
But now how The Rock and Seth are going to fit into this, that's still in the works. They put out a teaser trailer on the day of the Super Bowl. I don't know if you guys saw that or not. It was actually really good. Quick 30-second thing where it shows Cody and Seth facing off against The Rock and Roman Reigns. So do I think we're going to get a match maybe on night one of that? And then, Cody can finish his story on night two, and Seth can finish his story on night two against whoever wins the Elimination Chamber. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's there's still a lot of pieces that have to come together, but
yeah, we have a lot of possibility in it to make it a good WrestleMania and give everybody their WrestleMania moment. So,
I think The Rock can still have a match.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of Super Bowl, before we wrap things up, congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs. They did it yet again. Yes, that's my Chiefs. But our thoughts and prayers to everybody involved in the rally shooting that happened in downtown Kansas City. I don't know if you fellas heard about that.
Parade shooting. Yeah,
parade shooting. As far as reports are going, they said that it all sparked from a dispute between two people. But I greatly and loudly applaud the gentleman that took down the gunner. I don't know if you saw that, but video was circulating. It went viral of the suspect running in a Carhartt coat and pushing people out of his way to get through the crowd. And there was one guy who legitimately tackled him and slammed him on the ground, and then 2 or 3 or 4 other people hopped on top to restrain him, and enough time for the cops to come over and arrest him, so that he didn't get away. So major applause to those gentlemen that tackled the gunner, and our thoughts and prayers go to everybody involved. There was one confirmed death from that incident. Unnecessary. It was all unnecessary, just to celebrate another Super Bowl championship victory with the Kansas City Chiefs, and it turns into horror, and we our thoughts and prayers to everybody involved in that. So just wanted to say that. All right, that's it. Oh, Max.
Two things I want to briefly touch on before we go. Number one,
sure.
Who do you guys think is going to be the first announcement for the Hall of Fame class of 24?
Oh, that's interesting.
That's good.
We're in that season. It's that time of year.
Yeah,
it is. We haven't had anybody yet.
No,
but it's in Philly, so
I don't know. That's hard to pinpoint. Who do you got, J-Bone? What do you think?
I wanna know, people in the chat, whether you're watching live or if you're watching the replay.
Yeah.
And you come this far, please hit us up on social media or leave a comment in this video who you want to see in the Hall of Fame. Me personally, because it's in Philly, there's a lot of love for an older brand in professional wrestling, little brand called ECW.
Yes.
I'd say anybody significant that's associated with that, like maybe a Sabu, maybe an RVD, maybe even a Tommy Dreamer.
Sandman.
Sandman. I did hear that the Dudleys are under a Legends contract as of like late last year, I believe. So I have no doubt that the Dudleys are going to go into the Hall of Fame.
Yes, Boogeyman. I'm on board, Courtney.
I don't know if
what?
I don't know if they'll get RVD since he is on AEW TV. They might. I don't know, but the Dudleys
RVD just doesn't give a damn. He just does what he wants.
Right.
He wrestles for AEW, but he's under a Legends contract with the WWE. It's just, dude, you gotta pick your bed to sleep in.
I think the Dudleys are a really good guess for tag team. Heyman is a possibility because that man has done more for this industry. I'm sorry, keep him away from the money, but that man is a creative genius. That man can tell a story with nothing more than his facial features alone. And if you watch him as he looks at the members of the bloodline or the people confronting the bloodline, I don't even need commentary or the promos to know what's happening. He's telling me with his face. But the question was, who do you think is going to be the first one they announce? Now, there's a lot of internet speculation that they're going to induct Bray Wyatt this year. And I think that with everything that's gone on, I think that it would be very smart of them, if they are inducting Bray Wyatt, to make that their first announced induction.
And I heard they are working on some kind of project. I know they are pushing him being in the game. So that's definitely going to help with the game sales. Excuse me.
I don't see why they wouldn't induct Bray Wyatt into the Hall of Fame.
Well, the video game thing is a really good point. Because if they can get him into the game, his family's going to get royalties from the game. And they can still get royalties from the game even if they don't get him in the game, but they're guaranteed those royalties if he's in the game. You have to jump through hoops to give them royalties if he's not.
Yeah.
Right. So, I'm sure the company's doing what they can to
they'll take care of
whatever they do tribute wise, whether it's merch, putting in the game, whatever, they're helping out the family, which is proper.
Yeah, they'll take care of the family, that's for sure.
Say what you will about the WWE, but this is one of the areas where I think they thrive. Is Bray was one of the most beloved guys they had, and WWE is bending over backwards to make sure that family is where they need to be,
Yeah.
Well,
yep, I agree.
The other thing I wanted to bring up, something I just came across while you guys were talking a couple minutes ago, it's breaking news, and it's out of AEW.
Ooh.
And it does not have to do with Tony Khan and cocaine. However,
Fill that
to answer an earlier question about Vince Russo and Ryback, Tony Khan and his cocaine is what they have that keeps them running in together. You said that's where Baron was this week.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Breaking news is QT Marshall is returning to AEW. Now, I don't know if you guys know, but it's not been that long since it was announced that he was leaving AEW. Yeah. And he's already making a return, but he's not coming back as a wrestler this time. He is coming back in a backstage role. My guess is he's going to be one of the producers in the back, like we have like Jason Jordan and Jamie Noble are at WWE. My guess is that's what QT Marshall's going to do for AEW.
Awesome.
Let's not forget Petey Williams.
Right. Now, if AEW is smart, Tony Khan should turn the book over to QT Marshall, because QT Marshall obviously knows more about the wrestling business and how it works than Tony Khan does.
Yeah. I hear you.
You know what? That's a really good question, Diablo. Let me get you an answer.
Oh, Sean Spears. Yeah. So while you work up the answer for that, that's the show. We hope you enjoyed it. Lots of news to dive into. I'm sure next week we'll have a lot more regarding, going into the chamber, and we'll make our predictions for the Elimination Chamber. Actually, no, we won't, because that'll already be done.
Well, yeah, well, just a second. Sean Spears announced a month ago he was leaving AEW. A month and a half now. But as of now, he has not announced where he's going next or if he's going anywhere next.
Well, I know he's also helping take care of his wife. I think they got a new kid, so he's probably just busy being a papa.
All right.
Real quick, we can do this. Judgment Day or New Catch Republic for the tag team titles?
Judgment Day.
Yeah.
J-Bone? As much as I love Pete Dunne, I think it's going to be Judgment Day retaining.
I think so too.
I can see it switching hands though, and it's just going to add to more turmoil in the Judgment Day, because eventually Damian Priest is going to cash in at some point, which I got to say they're brilliant for keeping that away from the TV.
Yeah, I think our truth will disrupt the match somehow and make them lose, but I'm just going to say the Judgment Day. What about Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax? Who do we got? I'm going to say Rhea.
I'm saying Rhea.
J-Bone?
Oh, yeah. Rhea,
yeah. How about the Women's Elimination Chamber? Can we really say who would win, even though we don't know who is going to be the final contestant?
I'm going to.
Okay.
I really think it's going to be Becky. I would love to see Tiffy win this, but I think it's going to be Becky.
Okay.
There's been way too much of a big deal made of Becky and Rhea for me to think that they're going anywhere but Becky versus Rhea for Mania.
I'll say Becky too. But and then finally the Men's Elimination Chamber match: Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, Bobby Lashley, LA Knight, Kevin Owens, or Logan Paul.
This one's the toughest one on the card for me, because they could be going anywhere with the story on this. Honestly, I'm going to say probably Drew, because of how they've built his story with Seth.
Yeah. I'll say, I don't know. I'm going to say LA Knight, because LA and Drew have some pretty good heat going on. So, and obviously J-Bone thinks LA Knight too.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Knight win, and I love Liv Morgan, but I don't think that's the direction WWE's going on this one, Courtney. I'm sorry. That'd be great, but I don't think that's where they're going right now.
I would like to see Liv Morgan go over too, but I think Max is right. I think they're going to give this one to Becky. So,
it's just good to see Liv Morgan, back in general.
It is very much so.
Yeah. Great.
It is.
And now if we could
healthy.
If we get E back, I'd love to have Big E back.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
We'll
see. All right, that's going to wrap it up there for the show. J-Bone, how can they follow you on social media?
You can follow me over on the Twitter box at JBone5150. That's JAYBONE 5150. And you can also catch me. What? Huh?
I was saying, just so we're all clear, his Twitter handle means that he's a little nuts.
Yeah,
and
a little loco.
A little off tilted. And speaking of nuts, Max Magus, how can I get a hold of you?
Oh no, he wasn't done talking. I interrupted him.
You interrupt. I was just gonna say you can also catch me over Thursday nights on Total Nonstop Impact, covering all things TNA with reviews, news, and all sorts of more stuff.
There you go.
I refuse to be the reason that he does not get his plug for TNA in. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Max.
I'm sorry about that. Max Magus.
You can find me on Twitter at Max Magus. You can find my other podcast, which is some random nerdy stuff, at Our Shots Podcast. And if you want to go check out some of those podcasts, random-shots.net. I mean, we even have our own March Madness almost every year. I mean, I'm working on proposing a wrestling tournament for 1 year just for you, J-Bone.
Ooh.
Take not just from WWE or WCW, but like get wrestlers from all the companies and put them into a 32-man tournament and see who comes out on top. But I got to warn you, most of the guys, there are guys on the show that only watch WWE, so most likely WWE would be what is in the finals.
Well,
whatever. It'll still be fun to see what people come up with.
Yeah.
It's all right.
They can follow the Baron on X at Scumbag Jordan with 3 N's. You can follow the show at X, the Ramblers Pod. You can find it there on X, formerly known as Twitter. You can follow us on Facebook at Ramblers Unleashed. You can also please subscribe to our YouTube channel, share it with your friends, click the little bell icon to know when we are going to go live yet again. Smash that subscribe button if you would, please. And we will do it all over again for you next week, next Saturday at around this time, around 1 o'clock or so Central Standard Time. All right, that's it. Take care. See ya. Peace, deuces, and outro.
Thanks for tuning in to Ramblers Unleashed. Follow the show on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and click the bell icon for notifications of upcoming episodes.
Bye.